Hello.
Hi.
We're already laughing. We've not even started yet.
Mhm.
But hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of That'll Be The Tism.
That
Uh,
doesn't seem real.
but it is. I've
Believable.
just been looking on YouTube, and it's definitely was number 8, the
Mm.
last one we did. So yes. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, then welcome to what will hopefully be the best podcast you've ever heard.
Mm. Nothing like setting our standards high.
Nothing like it. But we did get told this week that we're funny in the right places.
Yes, and I forgot to tell you something, and I'll
Oh.
tell you this for now. We've
Yeah.
got another new subscriber, Emma,
On Spotify.
on Spotify, yes.
Amazing.
Oh, yes. And
Oh,
so he's been listening to them all, I think. So hello to you if that is you.
welcome.
Welcome along.
The reason we were laughing at the very beginning of the podcast was because Claire's just pointed out to me that I start the podcast every time in exactly the same way. And I say hello. And apparently I do it every time. And I've just been looking on YouTube. And so what I'm going to do now is try and play a compilation of hellos. So you're welcome in advance from the previous 8 episodes.
Past Emma's.
Past me's,
Mm.
and we'll see what happens. But just prepare yourself for the joy of what you're about to hear. So here we go. Hello, 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 hello.
I'm the same as well, though.
The same, yeah. It's hello and hi, like every time.
Hmm.
I mean, it's nice to have consistency.
Yes, I was just looking through all of our YouTubes before this to this is the context for it, to see if I was wearing the same top as I wore last time, and I'm not. But that's why I've had my own private compilation of hellos from Emma, and I just felt like it needed to be shared.
I'm glad you shared.
Hmm.
I find it very funny. I have no idea what I'm wearing for any of them. And I could have just paid attention while I was looking just then,
Yeah.
but I didn't. So never mind. I only have a very small number of t-shirts that I wear. So the chances are I'll have been wearing similar clothing for all of them. So I've only got about 6 or 7 t-shirts that I have on rotation.
I'm sure nobody would have cared but me, but my brain just went, somebody will watch the YouTube and go, oh my God, she's wearing the same top that she wore last time. She couldn't have possibly watched it.
It's not got changed in 2 weeks.
Yes.
But yes. So welcome to this podcast, which is about our lives as late diagnosed ADHD and autistic people.
Mm.
And we're going to talk about some things we've been doing this week. We are going to be talking about a main segment. We will have a rave, and then we are going to have a trait of the week, and then an animal fact that I'm not sure what it is yet, but apparently it's great.
Well, it's not so much an animal fact, but one might come to me. You never know. These
Never know.
things do.
But it's
We
an
don't.
animal. It's an interesting animal.
Mm. An animal that has been brought to my attention because apparently we have a reputation for those things now.
It's nice that we do. I like it. Yeah.
So getting it in early, if you have any interesting animals that you'd like us to feature on a future episode of this podcast, or even interesting facts, please send them to that'llbethetism@gmail.com or go on our link tree, which is link. No, yeah, I can't do this one.
linktr.ee/ that'll be the tism.
Yes, do all of those things immediately after you finish
Now.
listening to this podcast.
Yeah, don't stop it and go away. Wait until the end.
Yes,
So, yeah.
resist the urge.
So, Claire, how have you been?
I have been on holiday from work. I don't know why I'm thinking that. So I've
Oh,
been on annual leave, and it was about time that I am on annual leave because the last time I was on annual leave, it was in March, and I'm saying
oh,
annual leave a lot. Yeah, it's a long time.
wow. Yeah,
It's usually earlier than that, but my
yeah, yeah,
husband,
that's a long time.
but when I look back on social media, it's pretty much we go on holiday the same day every year. But this year it was later because my husband had decided to not go for the holidays that we usually go for, and I'm like, but they're the holidays Do you
Why do
know
you do
me?
that?
Do you not understand my tism? It needs to be at the end of June. It wasn't at the end of June. It was at mid-July, which is when we are. We're not there now. We're nearly late July, aren't we?
We are
Nearly
late July. There's only 3 days left of July.
And
It'll be August when we are publishing.
so, coming off of that tangent and rant about my annual leave, it's been a while. So I was already rather worn out and ready for a rest. And our friends have come over to stay with us for a little while, which has been lovely to have them. However, as an autistic person, that does result in a change of routine and things being a little bit out of the ordinary. So that has been a challenge. And I do want to preface that again with it's been lovely to have these people because one of them does listen to the podcast, and I hope you don't take this personally because it wasn't meant that way. But my overwhelm levels have been greater because things aren't how they usually are for me, which has always been the case. It's just not something that I've ever realised that that's why it was. So even just by knowing, you become better at dealing with it, don't you?
But
And
it does
about
make it,
going like being kind to yourself and giving yourself breaks and saying, no, I need to rest on this day.
the knowing is great to know, but also once you know it, it makes it more obvious. Whereas you wouldn't have thought about it previously. You might have got a bit infuriated about it when the overwhelm happened, but because you wouldn't understand it, it kind of just blends into all of the rest of the overwhelm. Whereas
Mm.
because you have the perspective of knowing that that's why. It's not
Especially now, because like 99% of my life is in my house with the dog and with my husband, and then all of a sudden there's other people, and obviously you don't want to just be sat watching the telly or, scrolling on my phone, whatever I usually do to, I guess, to regulate as well. Plus having more spare time because you're on leave from work, and work fills up a lot of your day. So yeah. That's been my week, and one of my ways of regulating has been crocheting for, are we allowed to say this, for your wedding?
yeah,
And I've got quite far with it.
but
I'm
you're doing a sample, you're doing a tester
doing a tester.
because you wanted to have a full test run done.
Yeah.
Um, so you're doing a full tester. So it's for my wedding, but it's not for my wedding.
Yes, true.
A test. It's a trial
It's
run.
crocheting that I would not be doing were it not for your wedding in the future.
No, I am doing one of the final versions. We're having 6 of the same shawl, sweater, scarf, sweater, scardigan,
Garfigan.
scarfigan.
Garfigan?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we're having 6 of the same scarfigan. I'm crocheting 2, and then you are crocheting yours, and then 3 other people are crocheting or knitting theirs. You're doing a full trial run. I did a sample square, and then I'm ploughing on with the main event. But you've done loads, haven't you?
I think so, yeah. I think I've probably done maybe a fifth of it. No, maybe not. Because I haven't done any the last couple of days. But
Ah,
yes, that's probably been one of my hyper focuses of the week. The other one being a shared one,
Duolingo.
Duolingo.
We're going to talk about that later, though.
Yes.
We've got a dedicated section to
Because it
Duolingo.
has been an thing.
It's been intense,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been nice. But it's been intense. But we'll talk about that as the trait of the week. We're going to talk about that later.
Has it been nice? It was
I
nice
think
at the
it's been
beginning of
nice.
the week.
It was, I think it's been a really, really needed distraction for me because my week, I mean, I'm going to talk about my week because it has basically been a lot, one thing after another. But the thing that I want to talk about, I keep coughing and now I've got something in my eye and I'm basically just sat here falling apart. Everything's fine. As we know, I've got a mug today that says everything's fine on it, which I shared on the Tism Instagram the other week when it was gifted to me. So this week we've sorted our wills out, which is a big thing, and it's a what?
Emma and her fiance have. I have not done that.
This week myself and my fiance sorted our wills out because it's been a thing that's been over my head for a little while since we moved in and we bought a house together last May, and most of the house is his. And I've been feeling quite at risk should anything happen to him for quite a while. And it turns out that what happens when you start planning a will, when you're autistic, is that in your head, all of a sudden, you're about to die. It's been quite a huge thing. And it makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because of black and white thinking. If I wasn't going to die, why would I be planning this? So, because I'm planning it and I'm answering questions about what would happen and creating hypothetical situations in my mind for me dying, it just became very real. Yeah, I sank into a bit into a bit of despair. There's some stuff around my son and what's going to happen to him if anything happens to me, and it all became very, very real because we can't separate the planning and the event. Yeah, so as we were planning what would happen, I just became absolutely convinced that I was about to die and that this was all going to happen and it was going to be really hard for everybody and it would go horribly wrong. So that has been an interesting time. I've had a couple of other bits happen as well, which have triggered rejection, sensitivity, but the main issue for me has been this whole will planning thing. I mean, it's a really important thing to have. It's a really important thing to have a will and a power of attorney and all that stuff. It's mainly for my son's benefit and for obviously my fiance's benefit with the house and everything because we're not married yet. Yeah, I mean, once we're married, he will be my next of kin, so it will become less important. But and you're fine because you're married.
Still, please nobody kill me.
I don't want you to do that. That wouldn't be very nice for anybody. So it still was important to do for my son and everything else. So yeah, my hyperfocus of the week has really been quite miserable, essentially death.
Sorry.
I just wasn't expecting because it's just planning a will, and yeah, it's not nice. It's not a nice topic, but the reality of it sort of taking over my brain was just completely unexpected to me, and is because of that black and white thinking and the inability or the struggle to separate the plan from the reality and know that you can plan for something that doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. So unfortunately, yeah, there we are. That's just some advice if you ever come to make your will, which you should do if you don't have one, especially if you've got dependents. Just be warned that it might take over and you just have to constantly remind yourself that it's not going to happen tomorrow.
This might be going down a bit of a morbid tangent now as well, but like if you have someone who's neurodivergent that is going to be responsible for those decisions, just tell them what you want. Like I've got an email from you from about 10 years ago now, just saying these are the songs that I want at my funeral because I wouldn't have a chuffing clue.
When my ex-partner died, me and a friend spent a long time going through his last FM when that was a thing that was used by everybody and figuring out what songs to play at his funeral. And I was like, I don't want anyone to have to do this for me because I like too many songs. So I sent a list to Claire and a couple of other people that has my funeral songs on it. And it does need updating. Did I send you an update? Because I was
No,
going
I
to say,
don't think so. And you need to do that because
I do need to do that.
it was pinned to the top of my email so that I never lost it. Because you give an autistic person a job and they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So unless you send me another one, that's what you're getting.
Do need to send a list, and I
All
can send
right.
you one to my fiance now, and then he knows as well. It's really strange but when things are really present, it's quite difficult to keep a distance from them and not get 100% involved and convinced that it's about to become very, very relevant. And that is very much a TISM thing.
It is because most people don't talk about it and they don't talk about it because that's just societal, isn't it? That like you don't talk about death, you don't talk about what you want, where people go, all that sort of stuff. But for us, because it's sort of out of sight, out of mind, isn't it? Like if people aren't talking about it, then I never have to think about it. And then one day you do and you're just like, oh no, that's probably gonna happen tomorrow now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not been fun. But then on Saturday evening, I think it was Saturday evening, I just had a hug with my fiance, and basically he was just like, everything's fine. Nothing's changed. We're all right. And it does need that. It just needed that. I just
Mm.
needed that. I don't think he's found it anywhere near as stressful as me, but then he doesn't have a child who is, I know that he is my son's step parent, but they don't have the same connection, obviously, as me and my son. So I think it hit me harder, and the impact of like me dying on my son, which I'd never considered, because death doesn't generally faze me because I just don't think about it. Like a lot of people are scared of dying. I'm not really bothered. Um, but
No,
when
not
it
really.
when it came to it this week, I'm like, yeah, but my son. So yeah, that's been my hyper focus of the week. So I apologize for bringing down the mood. We were going to talk about grief though this episode, and we're not talking about grief.
No, because we haven't had a not sponsored by in a while, and I don't want it to be. We're not sponsored by funeral directors, but if they want to get in touch,
Yeah, absolutely.
because we're talking about wills and death and grief
Yeah, sure.
and all those.
If anyone needs a mortgage advisor, just let me know. I've got a good one in my pocket now.
What's he
Not
doing there?
literally in my pocket. But
Tism jokes.
okay, so that is the hyperfocus of the week part. And so now it's time for the rave. We've not had a rave. It feels like a long time, but it's actually only 4 weeks. Because we didn't do one last time because of the spoonless episode.
No, yeah, but it's been longer because the previous one to that was a slowed down rave.
That's true.
So
Just
I haven't had an actual rave
yeah,
in quite some time.
yeah, in a while. So are we ready?
Yes.
Here we go. There we go.
There was a lot of out wows then.
2 or 3.
Mm,
I'll let it go 11 seconds.
a lot of bears you were waiting for.
A lot of bears.
Mm.
For anyone who doesn't get that joke, then listen to the
Oh,
last episode. And listen to the last episode where we explain the name of episode 7. And while we're there, do we want to interfere with our main segment by talking about the name of the last episode?
sure.
Why not, eh?
Came up, so
We just
that's
need
what's
to have a
happening here.
rave and then that's fine. We don't need to follow the instructions other than that.
There are our instructions,
They
so
are.
do with them what we will.
Break them. So the
Right,
name
well,
of the last episode.
yes, it was Tiny Furry Massage.
Yes. And it referred to
Tiny Furry Sausage.
Claire's little dog.
This is not my little dog. This
No.
is Anne's little dog that looks like my little dog.
Yeah, for listeners, Claire is holding up a
Yeah.
little dachshund fidget
Mm.
that looks like her little dog that is often on her knee.
Yes.
And so when we were talking about the tiny fairy, Claire was talking about tiny fairy sausage.
Yes. I
The
wasn't
trick
woken up
was,
by a tiny furry massage.
no. There was lots though, wasn't there, last time? There was lots of descriptisms.
There was. I think we stopped writing after a while because there were that many that we were just
Yeah.
like that, you know what, that one will do.
And we both had the massage and we were like, well, that has to be it. But yeah, we'll see what he comes up with today.
We will indeed.
But the main segment, this is really nice, isn't it? The main segment's about pain. We were just talking about death, and now we're going to talk about pain.
Pain and death.
So welcome to this really happy, uplifting podcast.
Yeah. What is the trait of the week going to be?
Oh no,
Keep
that's
listening
happy,
to
isn't it?
find out.
Yeah, and the trait of the week's happy. Well, kind of.
It is for me.
Reasonably stressful, but it's happy. So
Pain.
And how we feel it differently depending on how overwhelmed we are and where it's coming from. Yes?
Yes. So it's
Right.
something that I was thinking about because I have arthritis and I've had it since I was 13. And I think also, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that having other conditions is more common for neurodivergent people, a
Yes.
coexisting condition. And so I've often wondered with my condition how I have got as far as I have without. I cope quite well with pain, is the gist of it, to the point where my consultant has referred to me as stoical before, which means like I just get on with things. Which, in terms of my pain and everything, I do. Like, if somebody says to me, "Oh, you're not in pain with your hips," because my hips are my worst bit, and if I think about it, I'll go, "Oh yeah, actually, I can feel them. They're a bit worse today. They're a bit better today." But generally, I'm able to like just not ignore it, but it's not something that I think about constantly. And before I was diagnosed, I just thought, "Oh, well, maybe that's just a thing." Like, but since I've been diagnosed, I've sort of started to wonder if it is down to how I perceive pain and my sort of pain tolerance levels.
Yeah.
And I think it is, but when we were speaking about it, you'd said that it's probably down to sort of levels of spoons and
Partly. I mean, the thing is that it's really common for autistic people to have either a very high or very low pain threshold, and that can be different depending on where the pain is coming from. Because I know you mentioned that, like with bruises and stuff,
mm,
you've got a really low level of pain, but that will be to do with sensory issue of pain coming from external sources. Whereas from internal pain, like arthritis, which comes from inside, it's quite likely that you've got a high pain threshold. But then also, the more overwhelmed you get, the lower your pain threshold will get because you have less tolerance for everything,
mhm,
not just pain, but for like everything. So it's like with me, my pain threshold is very high. Like when I had my son, childbirth isn't very nice, but understatement of the century. But the nurses were astounded by my pain tolerance at that point and through pregnancy. But then my skin, so like if I have a blood test or anything, or get punched or kicked or whatever by usually by my child, then it hurts. It can hurt more, and the more overwhelmed you are, because all sensory stimuli is more impactful the more overwhelmed you are. So it's likely to be a mix of the two things. So like the
mm.
internal pain with your stoicism, is that right?
It
Stoical?
sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, stoicism is probably just a high pain threshold. But then also it's partly to do with the refusal to accept help,
Oh, definitely.
refusal to acknowledge pain.
I think that's
Uh,
what I was going to say with you. Like a lot of the time, if somebody says to you, like you when you were having your son, if somebody came to you and went, "Oh, are you all right? Yeah, everything's fine," is the default.
totally.
And it's not until you're like, actually think about what things are like, I suppose, for me, in my case, on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and you realise that they're not fine. It's just that you either don't want to cause a fuss or your brain's sort of like thinking about other things and it's just there. And when you happen to think about it, you're just like, oh, yeah, it is a bit sore today. Um, but then when you're overwhelmed, which I have been this week because this is why we'd started talking about it. So I've had my friends staying, and again, this is sounding like my friends staying is the reason that I've been in massive pain this week. It's not. Uh,
You're
to
all
anyone
right.
who will be
Everything's
listening to this,
fine.
everything's fine, but it might give you a bit of context, I suppose, which I
Yeah.
wasn't able to give at the time. So I'd been on a night out, I'd seen another of my friends that I haven't seen in a long time. I wasn't really comfortable that entire night, and not through any fault of anybody's, but purely because it's just so completely out of my comfort zone now that it wasn't until the end of the night when we were having to go home that I was starting to relax into it. And my friend had said, that's known me since I was at school, at one point, somebody was like clapping or something, and this is a tangent, but was clapping, and she said, she just put a hand on me, and she went, "It's all right, it's fine, it's all right," because I think I've just visibly jumped. She's like, "I've got cats. I know what." You're just like a cat. You're just like a scared cat. And I know how to calm my cats down, so I know how to calm you down. And I'm like, Oh shit, I'm like a cat. Because,
What it seems to be like.
well, I'm a dog person, aren't I? But still, it was like the comparison was just like, you're so right. That's like, whereas 5, 10 years ago, or even maybe a couple of years ago, previous to COVID, it would have been fine because my tolerance levels would have been so much higher for those sorts of situations. They're really not now.
Yeah,
So when anybody does anything out of the ordinary, that they're everybody's completely entitled to like clap or sing or whatever. It's like that's what people do on a Friday night. It's not something that I hear sat in my living room
no,
with the dog. The worst noise that I will hear is a bit barking. So yeah, I think I was completely on, I was on alert. It was really warm. And then the next day we were supposed to be going for a walk. And I can walk a little. I just have to be careful and make sure that I have plenty of rest and things. But that particular day, I'd got out of the car and I was walking a little and I thought, this is already like too much for me, but I can't really say anything and let people down and say, can I sit down? So I was like pushing myself. And eventually my husband looked at me and he's like, you all right? You're not all right, are you? And obviously he knows when things are getting too much for me.
yeah,
And I was like turning away because I thought I'm going to cry in a minute because I'm like, I'm feeling this pain so much today. Because usually I'm just, most of the time if I'm walking, it can be painful if I think about it, but I'm just quite slow and I can't walk far. Whereas I was like, why am I so sore today? And then I just thought it's because of the overwhelm that I'm feeling because I've had a couple of days where I've been doing things and that's not my normal anymore.
yeah,
Um, that I just like it really upset me and I felt like I'd let everybody down and that I was like ruining their day. And then I just had to think about it and think, well, I've just found my limit and that
yeah,
I can't keep pushing past that.
no,
And I
no,
think nobody would expect me to.
no. And then just the more you
Um,
push past it, the more you try to push past it, the worse it's going to end up in the
the
end.
worst, and that's sort of what happened. We just stood there and I thought, I just need to go home now. And I was to the point where I was just like, I'm gonna cry in a minute. And you don't like crying in front of people, do you? Because that's sort of like showing that you've like not everything's not fine. Um,
Yes.
but yes, so that was why we started talking about this topic. But it's come up with a few things, hasn't it? You were saying about your toe recently, you'd had a bite or something, and like it was literally all you could think about. And
Yes, I did. I had a bite on my toe and it's like my body just decided that that was going to be the thing. And my toe swelled up. It was weird actually. Actually, now to think about it, that's really weird because it happened and then like the weekend after my toe was bitten, or it was like 2, 3 days after, it like swirled up. It was horrific. It was like the middle toe on my left foot and it was just enormous and it was red. And I was convinced that it was going to be infected and it was really, really painful and itchy. And then it calmed down. I like we took a load of antihistamines and bite cream and all the rest of it. And then after I had my stressful thing we talked about last time with the business convention and the Airbnb and everything else, it flared back up. And I was like, this is 2 weeks after. This is like 2 weeks after the event. Why the hell is it flaring back up now? What's wrong with it? And all the rest of it. But it was most likely just my body being in overwhelm and thinking, this is the most recent thing that's gone wrong. We're just gonna like bring it back for a bit. And so when you've got a bite on your toe that's over 2 weeks old and you've sat on the sofa with your foot up, think in agony, like what the hell? But that's overwhelm and that's it
mm,
presenting in a physical way. And knowing that that's what it is really useful. And I hadn't actually thought about the fact that it could have been brought back on by overwhelm, but of course it could. Because I'm not very good at factoring in my own experience in when I'm talking about
you
things.
just don't think
No.
about it, do you? And it wasn't until we sort of started that. It's something that I've thought about for a long time. Because of the state that my hips are in, it's sometimes difficult to get people to appreciate how much it affects me. So I probably should seem to be struggling a lot more than I do,
Yeah.
considering the state of my hips. And sometimes I do, and people generally don't see that except for my husband. But sometimes I'm very good at masking it. And that's you mask it from yourself, I think,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. It's not realizing. And I mean, I often worry that if something was wrong because of my pain threshold, if something was seriously wrong, would I even feel it? Because I've got a high pain threshold. Like the other week, I had a really bad stabbing pain in where my appendix is, and it turned out to be IBS. Yay! But when it happened, I was like, this is bad because I don't normally get pains that are this intense, and therefore it has to be something really bad. But it was fine. I mean, after a couple of hours, it was fine. But it was when I was walking, I was just like, what the hell? What's going on with my body? But again, overwhelm.
But it's a pain that you're not used to as well, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yes, it's internal, but it's one that you're not like if a different part of my body started falling apart now, I'd like to think that I'd probably notice that and be more focused on it than I am on my
yeah, that's true.
joints that have been affected by my arthritis because that's something that I've just learned to deal with or that's been there for
Yeah,
like background noise, isn't it?
yeah, that's true.
Whereas something urgent, I'd like to hope that,
Who would realise?
yeah, we wouldn't just say everything's fine.
It's fine. But yeah, so yeah, overwhelm and pain
But
and feeling things differently. What, sorry?
if that does happen, you've got a will now.
Nearly. I need to sign off on it.
Oh, so we'll sign the will and then
Um,
it'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
it'll be all right.
Hopefully. Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. So yeah, that's our main segment. We just wanted
Mm,
to talk a little bit about pain and how it impacts differently.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's because a lot of autistic and neurodivergent people will have other quirks of health.
yeah, I was talking today actually to somebody about the link between the ear, nose, and throat system is more likely to go wrong if you're neurodivergent. So, like, you're more likely to have ear infections and earaches and hearing loss and tinnitus, and all of that stuff is more common in neurodivergent brains. And there's like being studies done all the time into why, but it's to do with which part of the brain functions differently in neurodivergent brains, because obviously our brains are different, which is why we are like this. And obviously, one part of your brain being different means that it's more likely for multiple parts to be. So I was just talking to a client this morning about tinnitus and how it's more common in autistic people, which is very interesting and also makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of my family have historic ear stuff.
What stomach problems as well. Like
Yeah,
we both got those sorts of issues and
yeah. Fibromyalgia and nerve
no,
problems and stuff like that are very common.
I have actually seen a study that I don't know whether it was conclusive or not, or whether it was just something they were looking into, like the type of arthritis I have, whether people with that type of arthritis are more likely to be autistic.
That's interesting
Yeah,
because I do have another client who has the same type of arthritis as you have as well.
there you
So,
go.
yeah,
Studies complete, case blue.
two people makes the rule. So yeah, there we go. That's a bit of an interesting one
Yeah.
for our main segment. And now, are we going to move on to the feature of the week?
Trait of the
The
week.
trait of the week, which this time is definitely the most important part of the podcast
Yeah.
because we're going to talk about Duolingo.
Mm.
Anyone that follows our socials will have seen, hopefully, thank you, algorithm. But hopefully, anyone that follows our socials will have seen the Duolingo wars that has been happening this week. I loved it. I think it's brilliant. And I know it's been really stressful, but I think it's great. It's made me smile a lot, considering how down I've been this week and how hard I found it. The
Mm.
fact that Duolingo decided to put me and Claire in the same league. We're both
Which
in
we didn't
Amethyst.
even know that that was the thing that could happen, did
I
we?
mean, it was, I don't even, it was just so bizarre. We were both in Amethyst League, so it was the Purple League, which is even better.
Mm.
Um, and I went online and saw on Monday morning, I was like I'd done one thing and I think Claire had done one thing, and there was like three people between us, and I just sent Claire a message with a screenshot saying, well, well, well. I'm like, this is it. This is the start. This is where it starts. So the trait of the week this week is competitiveness.
Which is definitely
It's been a thing, hasn't it?
has been a thing, yes.
Yeah.
It's been a thing that I had forgotten was within myself.
It
It's
just
been a
wants
thing
something
that
from you.
I've constantly apologized for, even though like I couldn't not do it.
Yeah, yeah. My fiance, every time I was like, look, this is happening again. And he's just like, but it's not. It's important. It's really important. And I mean, it became like, I mean, I couldn't, because I'm not that committed. I mean, Duolingo, I've been going on and doing my streak, and I've got quite a long streak. It's like 50 odd days, and I'm quite happy. I mean, I know yours is a lot higher, but I'm quite happy with it because I sort of decided on a whim to join and learn how to speak Korean. And the fact that I've stuck with it and I've got back into German, and it's quite nice to remind myself how much German I still remember from school. But yeah, this week I've massively had to get back into Duolingo because I've been trying to keep up with Claire.
And we were saying this as well, it's I've been pretty much the same, like I'll keep my streak because it's a tism thing, isn't it? Once you've got a bit of a hobby, you'll keep doing it until it's not a hobby anymore. But with work and everything, I will usually just go on a night, do what I need to do to like get my streak, and then I'll come off of it. But I don't know. I think it was the perfect storm of me being off of work, me needing something to like focus my attentions on. Similarly for you because of,
All the will stuff and
yeah.
everything else with work, it's been something that has been a great source of laughter. I mean,
Mm.
it was every morning I'd go on and I'd be like, oh my God, Claire's just got another 1,000 XP. How am I going to do this? Like trying to plan it into my day. And then as soon as you get an XP boost, it's like, oh, I need to stay on now for like the next 10
Mm.
minutes. And then you get another one. It's like, right, I need to stay on for another 10 minutes. I know on Sunday morning, I was about to go and get my son's breakfast, and I accidentally opened Duolingo and I was in an XP boost, and I was like, right, what can I get you that'll give me just this 10 minutes? And I think he had a cheese string. I'm pretty sure he had a cheese string. Not that it's more important than parenting, but ultimately, my son is my excuse for what eventually happened. Which,
Yes, you should have had like a head
um,
start sort of thing.
but yeah, I should have had some kind of clause like the parenting, making it easier to
Parenting
score
clause. You should have
points.
got an XP boost for
Yeah.
parenting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the end, what happened to Claire?
I won a lot.
By like 1,500 XP.
Well,
Ah,
it was getting towards the because you'd said on the it might have been the Friday night. Oh, I don't think I'll catch you now. And then I went on the next morning and you had. And my husband's like, well, she would say that, wouldn't she? Like it's like when you're bidding for something on eBay and then somebody just comes in at the last minute and outbids you. So it got into my head yesterday, and I was like, she's on now and she's building points up again, so I need to build up points again.
I was playing it for 10 minutes while my son was in the bath, and I'd kind of accepted by that point that I wouldn't be able to beat Claire. But then I was like, it's all right, because after he's gone to bed, I'll go back on and I'll see. I was about 700 points behind. And I'm like, if I happen to get an XP boost, there is a chance. Because that's what had happened the night before on Saturday night, where I posted on our story on Instagram. I was like, get in, come on. And then I got quite excited. And then Sunday morning, I was about 600 points ahead on Sunday morning. And then all of a sudden, Claire was 1,000 XP ahead of me again. So I'm like, right, after bedtime, I logged onto Duolingo and she got another bleeding 1,000 XP. So I was like, right, sub this. I was quite relieved because it gave me
An excuse to not like,
I could say, right, never mind, I'm just going to watch the racing with my fiance and eat a strawberry tart, which is what I probably needed to do last night rather than panically try and get a load of XP on Duolingo only to miss out by like a couple of minutes. Because it's quite slow work when you don't have any XP boosts.
yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's been so like autistic competitiveness. Are we actually going to talk about, I could probably talk about why it happens. It's a
Yeah.
useful thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, because we've talked about an example of it happening. And by the way, you're very welcome for the fact that you got to watch F1 and eat a strawberry tart in peace last night because of
Yeah, I'm grateful.
my obsessive
I'm grateful to
going.
your husband for getting into your head and convincing you that I was about to outbid you on eBay at the last second.
He'll be pleased with
Um,
that.
I am, I'm grateful. Thank you. And so is my fiance. He is also grateful. When I went downstairs and said, I've conceded and showed him the chart, he's just like, and it's about time. So, yeah. But competitiveness happened because of partly because of perfectionism, because we don't like to think that we're not perfect at something and we like to be the best at things. And so the fear of failure and the rejection, I suppose, from failure is another reason. I mean, a lot of autistic people, myself included, if you try something and you're not good at it straight away, then that's it and it's done. There's no like try and try and try again. If you don't get something within the first like few tries, maybe 2 or 3 tries, that's it. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Claire, when we went axe throwing in the middle of COVID.
Mm.
We went to go ape and then we did an axe throwing thing. And
And
I,
you did that, I just watched because that
yeah,
isn't of any interest to me and all of my joints whatsoever.
yeah.
I
But
was
there
quite
was,
happy to just
you
view.
were, I think you were looking after my son
I
while I was
was.
watching. Yeah,
That was my purpose for being in that environment where exercise was happening.
yes. And to see us all,
Yeah.
obviously, after times of not seeing anybody in COVID. But there was me and 2 other friends that were throwing axes, and I just couldn't do it. I've got no aim, I've got no depth perception because my eyes don't work together. I've got no aim, I've got no coordination. Dyspraxic, but then also one of the other friends that was doing it is also dyspraxic, so can't blame that. And yeah, I could not do it. And I threw about 3 axes at this board. And then I was like, no, I'm just not. I'm just not doing it because it was making me more angry that I couldn't do it than the whole point of axe throwing is to release tension. Whereas for me, it was having that opposite impact because I just couldn't. So being able to do something is really important. And if you can do something, then you have to be the best at it.
Yes, I do.
So competitiveness is because of having to be the best, not wanting anyone to be better, because if somebody else is better, it means that you're not perfect. And that is a weakness.
Mm.
Obviously, none of that is actually the truth, but that's how it feels. Which is why I'm a lot better with losing than I used to be. I've had to get practice with it for my son. I have to practice losing because I have to lose anything that we're playing. If we're playing anything, I have to lose because he has to win, because he's too old to understand that you don't win every time. But generally, losing is a painful thing for autistic people. I don't think anyone likes losing, but it's genuinely like uncomfortable for autistic people. And no matter how much we learn to hide it, I think if I didn't have the genuine excuse of my son, I would have found it a lot more difficult.
Do you know the other thing as well that was going through my mind is that also, as well as needing to win, you don't want to accept anyone's help to do it,
No.
like cheating and things like
I
that.
get very angry when people look things up at quizzes.
Mm. But the thing I was thinking of, which is what got me onto this tangent, was a couple of times one of my house guests was like, "Do you want me to just do a few exercises for you? Like just rattle through a few of them because they are a Spanish teacher. Well, I don't know if they're exclusively a Spanish teacher now, but they're fluent in Spanish." And I was like, "No, no, I need to do it myself."
Yeah,
Although I did threaten you with that because both of my house guests were fluent in Spanish, which is what I'm learning in Duolingo. So I was like, "You're not going to win."
I knew I wouldn't win. I kind of knew early on in the week that I wouldn't be able to win because of my son. I mean, the weekends, during the week, I find it difficult to find time. And then at weekends, I find it even more difficult to find time because I'm parenting. So it's been, it was quite challenging. My sleep hasn't been great because of all the other stresses, and therefore Duolingo has helped with that.
Oh, good.
Um, which has been nice. But it's just been quite funny to know that we were both coming at it from exactly the same place.
Mm.
And somehow it being somebody that I knew made it so much like more of a competition than just a stranger on Duolingo, because I'm not really bothered. I do like to be not demoted now that I know that there's different colours. I want to unlock them all because I haven't ever been to the top one.
Oh,
So at the minute it just shows like a blank trophy at the top. The top one that I've been to is the one we're in now, but we're not, thankfully, not in the same one this week. But yeah, so it's been competitiveness, trait of the week. You're welcome.
we definitely displayed that this week.
Congratulations, Claire, on your win
Thank you.
of Duolingo Wars.
It did get to a point where I was thinking in Spanish and I thought, you've done too much now. You need to stop for a while. And the Spanish words were getting stuck in my head because of echolalia, and I was like, this week needs to be over now, one way or another. So I was quite glad when it got to 11 o'clock last night and I didn't have to worry about it anymore.
I mean, you didn't have to worry from like 10 to 10 because I told you that I was going to sit eating a strawberry tart watching the Formula One.
But you might have eBay sniped me.
That's true, but it was a lot. I don't think it would have been physically possible for me to get like 1,700 points in an hour.
No. Which, I mean, I could have left a bit of competitiveness in it, couldn't I? I could have left a bit of drama in it, but
Why would you do that though?
that was not, I needed to ensure my success.
You did, and I understand.
I'm glad that you do.
I fully am.
And also, once I started, I couldn't stop, which is a thing that I've struggled with today because my brain's still in the competitive mode. So I've ended up at the top of the Duolingo group that I'm in now, purely because my brain doesn't know how to stop yet, and that I don't need to, because I'm not really interested. I'm the same as you. If I'm working, I ain't got the time or the brain space for it.
You'll have to transition out of Duolingo competitiveness.
Yeah, I will. Maybe I'll go up this week and then that'll be my transition.
I think I'm going to try and use the XP boosts each day, just because then it's quite an easy, like 20 minutes is quite an easy few hundred points. And I think I'm going to try and do that just so that I can try and get up to unlock all the leagues. But we'll see how long it lasts, because I've not opened it today since I did the one lesson last night. I've not opened it today because I've been too busy. Whereas I think after this, I might even just break my own rule already and just go on just to do the one for my streak, and then I'll do. But I don't want to be demoted again because I'm afraid that we'll both get demoted into the same league again. So we'll see. Okay, so we've talked about the trait of the week, done all the other things. Should I ever watch this video that you sent me?
Yes, you need to have a look at this animal that my friend sent me.
Yeah.
Because I've not had a chance to have any rabbit holes this week.
Is it a bird?
It's a bird. It's not a plane.
That's where my brain went to as well. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play it and hopefully Zoom will my volume's off. It's an amazing noise.
Sounds northern, doesn't it?
Is he saying hello?
I think so, yeah.
What is it?
That is a willow ptarmigan. Ptarmigan.
A willow ptarmigan.
Ptarmigan, yeah. P. It starts with a P, but I'm presuming it's like pterodactyl.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Okay.
Maybe I should have researched more, but I was busy on
Willow ptarmigan.
Ptarmigan.
The state bird of Alaska.
Oh.
Yeah, in summer the birds are largely brown with dappled plumage. So we've just
that
watched
one
a video
was
of a
white.
winter one.
Oh, do they change the coats in winter?
Yeah, in the winter they're white with some black feathers.
I'm white in the winter, but I'm also white in the summer as well. I don't change colour.
Sometimes a bit pink.
Most people do, yeah, but I don't. You have to go outside for that.
That's very true. But the reason it's called the Awibo bird is from its call, because it sounds like, well, to me, it sounds like it's saying hello, hello, hello.
In a northern accent, yeah.
Northern accent. Hello. Hello. But
Hello. Hello. Hello.
but yeah, that's our animal mention of the week is the willow ptarmigan.
Yes. I think it's got red eyebrows on it.
Yeah.
Does it have red eyebrows in the summer as well?
No.
Do they change colour as well?
It's all brown in the
All
summer.
brown.
By the look of it, it's brown. No, it does have red eyebrows.
Uh,
I think that must be the man. I think that must be the man. Um, because the women are all usually bland looking, aren't they, on birds? Allaboutbirds.org described it as a rotund grouse of subarctic tundra.
I mean, I'm not in subarctic tundra now. I wish I was. Although it has cooled down a bit. But I am rotund.
Oh, you're not that rotund.
And I'm white in the winter and in the summer. So
Wow.
maybe I can identify.
Cool facts.
Oh, yeah.
In the flocks that they farm in winter, when there's plenty of food, the flocks can be 2,200 birds wide.
Bloody hell. That
Um,
sounds like a nightmare for me. I don't think I want to be one of those anymore. That's too many birds.
the name is Gaelic. The P was added to the name because early ornithologists thought that the word was Greek in origin, but actually it's from the Gaelic ptarmigan.
Oh, it's a willow ptarmigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, how did it end up in Alaska then? I'm sure that allaboutbirdsfacts.com doesn't tell you that, but how did it get there? That's a bit of a wrong turn, that.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to read this out because I like it. Willow ptarmigan tend to play with one another when in groups. One bird often starts the play by extending and bobbing the head, then jumping around willy-nilly. That is the wording. That is the wording on allaboutbirds.org, and I like it.
If only that was how you made friends.
Flapping the wings alternately, other birds join in doing similar antics, which may sharpen the motor skills or increase cohesion of the social group. But yeah, they jump around willy-nilly and bob their heads.
Did they do it to each other? Or just like to say hello?
I think just they do it to each other. They play. Oh, the willow ptarmigan is the only house in the world in which the male regularly helps raise the young.
Good lad.
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah, well done. But yeah, um, the colours change. They're brown in the summer and then white in the winter because of camouflaging. So they camouflage brown amongst all the brownery. In the summer and in the winter it snows, so they go white.
And you just have to look for the eyebrows.
You just have to look for the
Why
red
do you
eye.
think they couldn't change the eyebrows? Because that seems like a bit of a dead giveaway, that.
It does really, but I don't have the answer to that question. It didn't tell me in the interesting facts section on allaboutbirds.org, and I don't want to read any more of the article because I've read my fill.
Yes. If you
Thanks.
know why willow ptarmigans have red eyebrows,
Let us know.
why evolution has not bred them out of them, please let us know at that'llbethetism@gmail.com
Yeah.
or any other various means that you'd like to contact us on.
Yeah. We didn't say anything about how to contact us in our last episode, so we have to say extra in this one. That's how it works.
Yeah,
So you
please
can
do
find
contact.
us on all the social media. Our link tree is at linktr.ee/ that'll be the tism.
That's still where it is, yeah.
That's still where it is. And we will be back again in 2 weeks' time, some way, somehow, because I am away at the next time of recording in a field in Bedfordshire.
That might be
figure it out.
difficult.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And then in the next episode, I can talk about the Japanese Culture Festival that I go to every year and how much of an awesome thing that is. And I need to put a link to our podcast on my business page so that when I'm walking around with a QR code to my business page on my back, anyone that scans it can also find the podcast.
Yeah, yes.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
So if you're listening from the future and you found our podcast via Emma's back, then
Let us
hello
know.
to you. And if you didn't find us that way, it's probably because I forgot to put it on the website.
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, it could be for that reason.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a That'll Be The Tism link on my website.
Very good.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
For all the thousands of people that find my work on a daily basis.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
We should have said that to
And
ourselves last week while we were doing Duolingo, to be honest.
that felt like a marathon.
But it did feel like
Mm.
both a marathon and a sprint, which is the
It's,
worst kind of running.
it's the closest my old legs will ever get to a marathon.
A sparathon.
It's a mind marathon.
Sparathon rather than a sprint. Yes.
But
Anyway,
marathon sounds like lots of sparrows on a marathon.
yeah, there might be 2,200 wild
Bobbing the
ptarmigans. Anyway, we're going to finish the podcast, I think, now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to leave us reviews and give us feedback if it's nice. If it's not nice, then don't.
No, keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself.
You've got nothing nice to say.
Don't say it.
And why? Why haven't you?
Be
Find
nice.
something nice to say and say it.
Absolutely.
Mm.
General motto for life.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And we will see you in a fortnight. Bye.